Hey garden lovers! This is our Become an Expert Chili Pepper Grower series, episode 4. This video is all about pest control for your chili pepper plants, identifying them, and treating them. It's going to be similar to our Battling Garden Pest series, episode 5, but we do have some additional information that we didn't provide in that video. So that would be the soil-dwelling insects as well that go after our chili pepper plants. And if you're not following our Become an Expert Chili Pepper Grower series yet, whether you like sweet, mild, hot, or super hots, if you found it frustrating to grow chili peppers, because they are tricky and they can be very sensitive, we're going through every aspect of growing chili pepper plants, from sowing seeds to harvest, our soil mixture, and common problems you can experience. All right, to start, we're going to discuss soft-bodied insects like aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, and mealybugs. Since they are soft-bodied insects, a Bronner soapy water mixture is all that's needed. No neem oil is necessary. But there are some keys to this treatment to make sure that you are successful. And we'll talk about how to identify which pest is infesting your plant. And it might not be an infestation yet, but these pests multiply quickly, and it can be an infestation very soon if you don't treat it. Every garden experiences pests. There's just no getting around it. And I'm not even sure how they get brought in. Maybe nursery plants that you brought in or the surrounding landscapes. But in our case, they're always here year-round. The first pest we're going to identify is aphids. You could see here we have a ton of aphids on the Carolina Reaper chili blossoms. And that ant is farming aphids. I read that they barely sleep, like a minute here and there throughout a 24-hour period. So they could do a lot of aphid farming. They are relentless, and I have recently found out that they also farm mealybugs. If the aphids are left untreated, they will affect your chili blossoms, resulting in diminished fruit setting in and less chilies to harvest. You can see here I have a little Toro trap. It's ant bait, and it's a borax base. One of the keys, and we'll list them in a moment, is identifying the root cause. And the root cause of our aphid infestation is ants farming aphids. You can see these little boogers crawling everywhere. They are relentless. Apparently they milk the aphids. I saw Epic Gardening had this very thorough video on ants farming aphids. So you can't keep up with all the aphids that they're placing unless you eradicate the ants. And this borax-based bait is designed so that they could take it back to the colony and everyone could be affected by it. But it's expensive, so we make our own. And it's different than the one circulating on the internet. That one didn't work for our environment. I guess we're too hot and it would solidify. It's taken us a while to fine-tune, but it's working great now. We'll share the recipe at the end of this video. All right, so there are 4 keys in being successful battling aphids, whiteflies, mealybugs, and spider mites. The first one is remove the majority of the infected foliage, but it's going to depend on the plant you're treating. If you're treating chili pepper plants, then remove most of the bottom leaves that are near the soil, because when you flip the leaf over, and this one's pretty clean, but you'll see that the majority of the pests are under those bottom leaves. And in the case of aphids, a lot of the eggs are going to be there as well. You don't need the bottom leaves for the chili pepper plants, so it's easiest just to remove them and throw them in the green waste. Ideally, you want to get rid of all the eggs, but that could be pretty hard to do when you have a big bushy chili plant like this Carolina Reaper, 5-foot Carolina Reaper. So treating the plants every day for several days is needed if you live in a warm climate like ours. If you're in a cold climate, the eggs can overwinter, unfortunately, and it ends up being just a seasonal pest management. Here's some more information on aphids and their egg process. And here's an egg up close and what you're looking for. It's got a pretty golden shine to it, and it could be easily smashed, but I don't think that the soap penetrates the egg membrane. I'm going to have to do more testing on that. The second key is to be consistent when treating your plants. Every day is necessary. When spraying the plants, the soap will dehydrate the aphid and whitefly's bodies, but they travel around. Many more that were under the leaves will crawl on top of the leaves, and eggs are hatching all the time. So, not all of them are getting sprayed when you treat it just one time. So consistency is very key, and spraying under the leaves as well as on top where the new leaf growth. And you can see here I'm spraying along the fabric pots as well. You could also see that the mixture I make is gentle enough to spray on little seedlings without causing leaf burn, and I've done extensive tests. You could see here's a test plant that's been sprayed with this mixture every day, sometimes twice a day, without rinsing, and the mixture is gentle enough to not cause leaf burn. I used to add much more Bronner soap. It was a stronger mixture, and Jimmy Pickles kind of connected the dots in my brain when he mentioned it just takes a little bit, and it's true. These guys are soft-bodied insects. It doesn't take much soap at all for them to dehydrate. And this way, there's no need to rinse the leaves off. But do your own testing, because I have done it, tests on the outside plants as well, but these ones inside the greenhouse do have a 40% shade cloth over them, so make sure you do your own testing on a leaf or two for a few days before you spray your entire plant. I also found that it's best to spray in the evening at dusk when the sun is going down, and if you have a severe infestation, I spray again in the morning, so sometimes twice a day. You could see where the soap has pulled at the tips of the leaves. Before, when I was doing a stronger mixture, I think it was more like a tablespoon of Bronner soap, then I would get leaf burn at the tips of the leaves. But now I'll go into how we make this mixture, and it may seem like not very much soap, but a little goes a long way. It's consistency that is the key. All right, so we like to use this Chapin 2-gallon pump sprayer. We fill it up with water first to the fill line, add some Dr. Bronner's Sal Suds. You can use also the Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap, and really it doesn't even have to be Dr. Bronner's, but just do test sprays. I just eyeball the amount, but it's pretty close to a teaspoon. Shake it up real good and apply. It's the same mixture for all of the soft-bodied pests, so we'll be looking at mealybugs next, same mixture. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, mealybugs are a new one for us here on our pepper plants. I've seen them on our citrus trees before, but never on our pepper plants. This is a tie dragon. You could see it's a very unhappy plant infested with mealybugs. And if you look real close, sure enough, there's an ant farming the mealybugs. I don't know the reason why they farm mealybugs, but I'm sure it's similar to the aphids and whiteflies. And here's the same plant a couple weeks later after many applications. It's a very happy plant again. No signs of mealybugs or ants, which brings me to the third key, identifying the root cause. And in these situations, it's ants. It's the ants farming aphids, whiteflies, and the mealybugs. So in the situation of that tie dragon plant that we just looked at, if we hadn't addressed the root cause, the ants, with the borax bait, then they would have just brought more mealybugs in. So for our situation, us addressing the root cause was bringing in borax bait so that the ants would take the bait back to the colony and the colony would be wiped out. And we also had to seal up our greenhouses to eliminate any entrance where the ants are coming in at, because we basically live on an anthill. So it's just going to be another colony that comes in. So we sealed it up with silicone. Now let's get a closer look at whiteflies and how to identify them. Now it's shocking how fast aphids multiply, but man, whiteflies and spider mites, they blow them away. They multiply like crazy. So you could see the aphids are the light green ones. We got that one guy trucking along, and right below him is a whitefly. A good way to locate them is you're going to see some leaves with a shiny substance. It looks shiny and sticky. That sugary residue that they leave behind is called honeydew. And man, they really love these fabric pots, unfortunately, so it's easy to see them all over. I've read that some people use a diluted rubbing alcohol mixture, but since these guys are soft-bodied insects, then the soapy water is fine. And now let's identify the mealybugs. They're cottony-looking scales, and you could see that this ant is doing whatever he's doing. He's working at getting these mealybugs placed, I guess. I'm going to do more research. I'm just starting to learn about mealybugs. Look at the size of these leaves on this Reaper plant. I'm tempted to clear out the bottom leaves, but can you imagine how many insects I would have on me and in my hair? Yeah, and this plant's got a lot of white flies on it. It's actually representing mealybugs, whiteflies, and aphids. Thankfully, a soapy water mixture does the trick for these guys. I used to think years ago that neem oil was needed, and boy, that would be expensive if that was the case, because this is a part of maintenance with us growing, especially chili pepper plants. And the last soft-bodied pest we're going to look at is spider mites. And I don't have any examples of spider mites infesting our chili plants at this time, but in case you do run across these guys, you can see here the webbing, there's spider mites on a little web highway. So if you end up identifying spider mites on any of your chili pepper plants, then the soapy water mixture does the trick. But again, the key is consistency with the treatment. The soapy water mixture needs to be applied daily, and for an infestation like this, probably for over a week. Now we're going to look at the soil-dwelling insects that can affect your chili pepper plants. The two that we encounter here have been grubs and cutworms, but mostly grubs. Here's a reel I did in the spring of 2024. There were so many grubs that I harvested from this small container. Look at all these guys. The fig beetles can just lay some eggs in the soil. Next thing you know, you've got grubs eating the roots of your chili pepper plants. If it's just a small chili pepper seedling, it's going to wipe it out. If it's a mature plant, it could put it into shock. We've been using beneficial nematodes for years to get rid of the grub population. It definitely works in our raised beds and in the ground, but I have found it's not effective in containers. So this gets back to one of the keys, which is identifying the root cause. And the root cause of the grubs is the fig beetles. And last year we improved upon a fig beetle trap that we've used for 2 years in a row. We've caught thousands of fig beetles, which equates to tens of thousands less grubs in our raised beds and soil. We're getting ready to do another beneficial nematode application soon, so make sure to subscribe. And if you get swarms of fig beetles also, then the details for the fig beetle trap is at our Battling Garden Pests series. I'll put the link to the playlist in the description. And now here is the recipe for the homemade ant bait borax baste for hotter climates. And if you've made it this far, all the way to the end of the video, you're probably passionate about growing chili pepper plants, and we'd love to hear where you're growing. Enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.